Hi there, welcome aboard. This is Jebb Adams. In this video, I'm going to connect the two front panels of the legs together. I'm also going to install the zipper, and I will also get the back pockets put on and get both yokes put on. So that's what's going to go on in this video. It's about 38 minutes long. I hope you're able to watch all the way through, and I hope you find it interesting, find something helpful for you. So enjoy. Hello there. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to join the two front panels together, and how I'm going to do that is I'm going to lay a line of thread only about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter long, right here with a 1/2 inch seam clearance, and I've got the start and the finish there. And what I did was I measured a little bit, and the bottom of the stitch ends 2 inches from this point. That is about an inch long where I will stitch, and from the top it is about 9.5 inches. So that's how I've set it up. To give credit where credit is due, as a reference I'm using the YouTube channel by Talk Custom. He does a number of men's clothes, so he also does a bunch of cosplay stuff, but that's what I'm using as a reference for what I'm about to do now. So here I am. I've got the cloth in position where I'm going to join these two front panels together. I did pin them and added a couple of extra pins bottom and top just to keep everything stable. So I double tack that whole part there for strength. And there's the stitch there. I'm back at the work table, and here's that stitch. And like I said, I did a double back, the whole thing was forward and reverse, so it was back tacked entirely and forward tacked entirely. Now I'm going to open the pants up. Here I am, and there's the pants opened up, and there's that nice tight double back stitch there, keeping both of the front panels together. You can still see that I still have my painter's tape with the front left and front right on, and I will stop using these labels as I become more experienced putting pant legs together. I will be able to recognize just visually that that is a front right or a front left. But for now, for clarity, that's what I do. What I have done here is I've taken the pair of jeans and I've taken some cardstock, some construction paper, this nice bright green color, and I've made a little template. Now I'm going to need four of these, because both of them are like the fly shield and the fly backing are both using 2 pieces. So I'm going to cut 4 of those, and this is where I'm kind of just figuring this out a little bit after watching the videos, that this is the way for me to do it. Hi there. What I have over here on the right side is the new Denim back leg. It's the left back leg. There's the crotch seam, or the crotch side. There's the outside seam. So I've got the new denim underneath, and on top I've got the original old jean denim, and I've clipped it to the new piece, and I'm going to get the awl, and I'm going to make some holes through both pieces to outline where the back pocket has to go. So that's what I'm working on now. So I've laid the ruler down and I am marking it with the 1/2 inch seam allowance, I do believe. Let me check this. Let me really check this before I start. Yes, I have. There's the seam allowance. There's the pocket in there. So that is correct. So I'm just gonna go up the line here, every inch or so, make a hole, and then when I get to the top, I'll move over to the other side or go across the top or what have you. So here I am. I've got my template on, and that is the template with the 1/2 inch seam allowance for the left back pocket. And then I have taped to it on the inside is how the true size of the pocket once it's stitched onto the jeans are. And I used that one to get the seam allowance for my template. So I'm going to cut around the border here, and that will give me my back pocket with the 1/2 inch seam allowance on 3 sides, and then the 1.5 inch or more on the top for a seam allowance. And here I've made the first cut and I've separated the cloth. So I'm just gonna snip that off like that. So now I'm gonna cut along there. Well, I'm going to need the ruler because I'm not left-handed and it feels a little bit unusual. So I got some down there. Fair enough. There, I just turned it upside down. That's a better way for me to do it. That way I can use my correct hand to put the pressure on to cut. Beautiful. Beautiful. So there's my back left pocket with the 1/2 inch seam allowance here, and at the top is an 1.5 inch seam allowance. So I have all my fold lines on there, so I'm going to go over to the iron and iron these folds so that I get a nice sharp definition on the folds, and then I'll stitch them so I can get it stitched up and then put it on the pant leg. I had the pocket placed on the pant leg and I put the pins in, so now I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and I'm going to carefully sew that side, that side, that side, and that side. This side stays open because that's the pocket. That's where I got to put my hand and my wallet. You know what I mean? So I'm pleased with the way it turned out. Another first, you know. First time I'm using denim, and I had practiced putting pockets on a few times with muslin fabric, but I'm quite happy with that. I do have the templates cut out to cut out some yokes, and what I'm going to do next is get the other pocket on the rear right piece. So things are making progress. I got the pockets on both of the back legs, and I'm getting ready to cut out some yokes, so I can put one there, and get working on that. I'm still working on the zipper for the front legs, but for now I'm gonna work on the yokes and see if I can get these pants together with once the yokes are on. So really enjoying learning how to make jeans, and really enjoying how to work with denim because it's still very new. So making progress. Both of the rear panels, the rear legs, were straight stitched all the way around and zigzagged all the way around. And what I've done, and the pockets are on obviously, and what I've done now is I've cut the yokes. So I'm just getting ready to pin the yokes, and then I'll take them over and iron them once I got them pinned on. And well, actually once I got them stitched on. I'm going to pin them, stitch them, then iron them, because we have to flip them forward and iron them when they're flipped forward. Alright, so I've got the yokes on with the good side facing the good side. Got 3 pins. I've wrote a half-inch or almost half-inch seam allowance line, and I've done that on both of them. So I'm ready to take them over to the sewing machine and stitch them up. So here the yokes are on, there and there. I was showing cutting out the templates, but I never actually showed putting the yokes on. So I just wanted to give you that view and let you see it as I progress along here. Hi there. I've moved right along with getting the fly facing on, and there it is there. It's connected, and I folded it over, and I've just pressed that folded over seam on the fly facing. Now I'm going to turn the pants over. So I've turned the pants over, and this is how it looks now. You can see there's the fly facing in there, and what I'm going to have to do now is take this over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to top stitch right from here right down to where it meets down here, right down there. That's where I have to top stitch. Okay, I've got the bobbin back in, so I'm ready to stitch. I'll just go forward and then do a back tack. And that's where I'm coming up to the joint where I want to go to. Just like that. Now I'm going to back tack. So what I have to do next is I have to fold this over like that, but I'm not going to go the full half-inch seam allowance that I've been using on everything. I'm going to go about half of that, about 1/4 of an inch. And once I get that measured out, I'm going to iron it. So that's pretty much 1/4 of an inch. And I've gone right down to the joint there where the legs are joined. Just like that. Hi there, this is still Jebb Adams, and what I've already done on the sewing machine, because I'm going to shorten this zipper, ergo make a custom zipper, I have dropped the feed dogs. There's a switch at the back, and it lowers the feed dogs, so I've disabled the feed dogs so that I will be able to keep this zipper stationary right at this mark while I stitch a line of thread back and forth on a zigzag to figure out where I want to cut the zipper off. Now I have it on zigzag, and I have the zigzag stitch on the widest width. And I'm going to slowly set this up and put the needle in a couple of few times, just by hand, to make sure that I'm not hitting the metal zipper. And so that's where I'm starting at. There will be no reason to back tack because the zipper is not going to be moving because the feed dogs are dropped, because we don't want to move the zipper. And likewise, the stitch length doesn't apply because we're not moving. So here I'm going to line my little mark up with my needle, and I'm going to drop the foot and see what happens when I try to zigzag over the zipper. Now I haven't hit any zipper there, metal, and I haven't hit any there either. To do this about 20 times. That's about 20 times. Let me take this out and give it a snip and see what I'm working with here. First I'll free my machine thread. So I think I've done it right. There you can see a buildup of black thread there and there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right across here and remove this part of the zipper. So there we can see the two pieces of the zipper. That's where I made the cut. And this part is garbage, so I'll throw that away. And that's the zipper that I'm going to put on the fly. And now I'm also going to make sure that I put the feed dogs back up like that, adjusting it on the back bottom part of my sewing machine. That's where I just raise and drop the feed dogs back there. I'm not sure whether I even filmed any of the stitching, but it did go well. I had mentioned that this was a 9.5 inch zipper, shortened to 7 inches. And so that's good. And I have got it secured to the fly, and I can move forward from there. Okay, I'm back with the pants, and what I need to do, first of all, I'm going to move that out of the way. And then what I need to do is put this right along there, like that. Now, I'm just going to pin this, and this is how I've got it, just like that, right? Yes. I'm just going to put a couple of pins in here. Wow, that was hard to go through. That pin was really fighting not to go in. And I'll try another one. Right about there. So I'm going to go over to the sewing machine and lay a line of thread, top stitch all the way down there. And I do believe I'm going to come all the way down to here, but I'm going to check that. All right, Jebb is ready to start straight stitching right along this fold. I've got a pin in here just to hold it solid for now. I've got the zipper foot in, and now I'm going to move the needle position over to the right. So you'll see it right now. I know it's maybe not the best angle, but there it's over to the right. And I'm going to try and stitch right just to the left of that fold. So I'll get it started first, and we'll see how I make out. I've got it set on straight stitch and about a 3.5 millimeter long stitch. So I'll get it started, making sure that everything is nicely aligned. Of course, I'll have to do a back stitch once I get going. So now I'll remove that pin. But still making sure that I'm lined up very nicely. I took out the bottom pin. And I've put a yellow mark so that I'm going to end up about an inch or so below the zipper, keeping everything nice and straight and aligned. Ouch. Now I'm going to back tack. And I may have lost my thread. That is not really good. Do I have it? Well, we'll see. We'll find out right now. Let's see how much is stitched. Okay, the thread's still there. So it's just my fantastic eyesight. So that has worked out well, and I have indeed stitched right down to my mark there. Now I'm going to do that again. I'm going to double stitch it for strength. Good enough. On with the next step. So far, so good. this is what we have so far. There's the bottom seam, the start of the crotch seam. As I fold that back, we see it is stitched right to there, and that is on there double stitched, safe and sound, good and solid. So next I've got to get this stitched into the left side of the front panel. Yes, these are starting to look like pants. In order to stabilize this, I put a pin in here and I put a pin in there. So that's going to keep everything in line. And I'm going to flip the jeans over again as well. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to isolate this. I want to pin this here so it stays out of the way for when I do this other work over here and start flipping it back and forth and all that. So making sure that the zipper and the zipper lining, the zipper flap or whatever you want to call it, is nice and flat and where it needs to be, I'm going to put a couple of pins in just to keep this out of the way, so it won't be flapping around and blinding me or getting stitched inadvertently or anything. Good enough. So that's out of the way, and that zipper and the zipper tab is nice and flat. Now for this next job, I want to sew down the fly tape, the zipper tape, right down there and through here. But I don't want it to go through the pants, through the front of the pants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, hold it like that, and then I'm just going to pull it up and flip it over like that. And now when I sew, I'll be sewing right into the fly, not the front of the pants. Now I'm going to stabilize the zipper tape, the fly tape, with 3 pins, one on the top, one in the middle, one in the bottom. I'm making sure that the zipper is nice and flat. And everything else is out of the way, so it's only going to go through here. And again, I'm kind of pushing everything to make sure that the zipper and the fly tape are right flat on the fly shield or whatever. Same thing, making sure that it's down and it's aligned and it's in the correct position, and then one more pin to stabilize it. So that's how it looks now. When I sew through here, it's just going to be through the fly tape and the fly facing or shield or whatever I want to call that. Now that I've pinned down the zipper tape on the other side, I can take these 2 front pins out because I've got enough stability that I don't need them in there anymore. While I'm in this position, I can just test that, and that zipper is working nicely. There we go. Okay, here I am back at the sewing machine, and what I need to do is move the zipper foot over to the left side and also move the needle over to the left side as well, because we're going to be working off that side now. So first I will do the zipper foot, move it over to the left. Okay, there. And now I'll move the needle over, and that went over to the left as well. So that's how I want it set up for sewing the zipper tape again. Alright, so I'm starting at the bottom of the zipper, and I'm going to stitch all the way up to the top, removing those 3 pins as I go along. So I'll get started, do a stitch and a back stitch. I'll take that pin out right now. Good enough. So I may not have recorded me doing this straight stitching down here from the top to the bottom, and I'm at the bottom and I'm just going to start doing a zigzag all the way back up to the top. There, I got it that time. Now with most pairs of jeans that you bought, you will have remembered seeing a double row of stitching coming all the way down on the fly face or the fly shield. So that's what I've marked. I've got it pinned. There's pins here keeping that fly face over there so I don't sew it through it when I sew through here. And I'm going to go on the inside first, come down, turn around, and then go back up, and that should finish it. That should pretty much get me finished doing the zipper for today. So that's what I'm gonna get working on now. So here I am ready to get started, and everything is good. I'm on straight stitch, gonna go all the way down this line, turn around and come back up on this one and not miss anything and go exactly where I'm supposed to. Okay, I'm ready to start. I'll go forward and then do a bit of a back stitch. I'll do a double actually. I'm taking out pins as I go. Now I want to get that last pin. And that's where I'm going to pivot. Now I'm going to pivot again. I'm just going to do a little bit of a back tack there, a double actually. Did a double there. Here is the inside of my first pair of denim jeans, and these are just the fronts. The front right and left. The zipper is on. If I turn it face front, that's what it looks like. I've got the double row of stitching there. I've got a bar tack there. And there's the zipper in here. And it goes right down to the end and right up to the top. And that works. I had to do a little repair here, a little adjustment with some zigzag. And I'm rather quite pleased with the progress so far. I also have the back legs. They have the back pockets on them, and they have, I believe they have the yokes on them as well. So these are the fronts. The front right, the front left. There's the wonderful zipper. And here are the backs. And they do have the yokes installed. There's the back right with the pocket and the yoke, and here also is the back left with the pocket and the yoke. So clearly the next step is to get the backs put together at the top, and also to finish off the crotch stitching here at the top front, and then I can start with sewing the inseams of the fronts to the backs. But I'm going to make that for another video. So I finally made it to the end, and I got through getting the zipper on the denim jeans done. I also got the yokes put on, and initially starting out I joined the front panels together. So thank you for watching. I hope you found this interesting and helpful, and I look forward to continuing in the next video. I'll start with the inseam on the legs, getting the legs together, and move forward from there. In the next couple of videos, the pants are going to be put together, and the waistband will go on with the belt loops, and the inseams will be done, the outseams will be done, outside seams will be done, and it'll just be a matter of hemming at the bottom. And I'll see then how they actually fit or don't fit. So it's going to be interesting. I hope that you stay safe, have a lot of fun, And come on back next time and we'll do some more with these denim jeans. Adios, amigos.